Victoria Hayes adjusted her camera lens, focusing on the glittering crowd that filled the Grand Plaza Hotel ballroom. As a freelance photographer, she had learned to become invisible at these high-society events, capturing moments while remaining unnoticed. Tonight's charity auction was her biggest booking yet, a chance to add impressive portfolio pieces that might finally attract corporate clients. She moved through the crowd with practiced ease, snapping candid shots of Manhattan's elite as they mingled beneath crystal chandeliers. The air buzzed with expensive perfume, champagne bubbles, and the quiet murmur of people who controlled billions. Victoria felt like an anthropologist studying a foreign culture, fascinated yet fundamentally separate from this world of inherited wealth and social hierarchies. Near the main stage, she noticed a tall man standing alone, his posture rigid despite the casual way he held his champagne glass. Sebastian Cole. Even someone as disconnected from high society as Victoria recognized him from business magazines and tech blogs. The founder of NextGen Solutions had revolutionized cloud computing before turning 30. Now at 34, he was worth an estimated $3 billion. But tonight, he looked trapped. A moment of madness. Sebastian felt the walls closing in. His mother had orchestrated this entire evening under the guise of charity, but he knew the truth. Every eligible woman here had been carefully selected, vetted, and positioned like chess pieces. The Cole family expected him to choose a suitable wife, someone who would strengthen business alliances and maintain their social standing. He had spent years building his company through innovation and calculated risks. Yet here he stood, his personal life being managed like a corporate merger. The suffocation was unbearable. Across the room, he spotted a woman with warm brown skin and natural curls pulled into a professional bun. She wore a simple black dress that contrasted sharply with the designer gown surrounding her. Unlike everyone else, she seemed genuinely focused on her work, moving through the crowd with purpose rather than performance. A camera hung around her neck, and she was completely absorbed in framing a shot of the auction items. Something about her authenticity in this manufactured environment captivated him. More importantly, she was clearly not part of his mother's matchmaking scheme. An idea formed, reckless and liberating. Before rational thought could intervene, Sebastian crossed the ballroom. His heart pounded with a mixture of rebellion and desperation. The kiss that changed everything. Victoria lowered her camera, reviewing her recent shots on the display screen. She was pleased with the composition, the way the lighting caught the diamond necklace being auctioned. This portfolio would definitely impress potential clients. A shadow fell across her screen. She looked up to find Sebastian Cole standing directly in front of her, his expression intense and slightly wild. "I apologize for what I am about to do," he said quietly. Before Victoria could process his words, his hands cupped her face and his lips met hers. Shock froze her for a heartbeat. Then, inexplicably, she found herself responding. The kiss was soft yet urgent, gentle yet desperate. For those few seconds, the ballroom faded away. When they separated, reality crashed back. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Camera flashes exploded around them, not from Victoria's professional equipment but from dozens of phones capturing this scandalous moment. "Are you insane?" Victoria hissed, her voice shaking with anger and disbelief. "What just happened?" "I am Sebastian Cole," he said unnecessarily. "I know who you are. Everyone knows who you are." Victoria's mind raced, already calculating the damage to her professional reputation. "I am Victoria Hayes, and you just destroyed my career." The crowd pressed closer, excited whispers building to a roar. Security personnel began moving through the guests, but the damage was complete. Victoria could see phones everywhere, recording, photographing, broadcasting this moment to the world. The aftermath begins. Sebastian's mother materialized beside them, her face a mask of controlled fury. "Sebastian, we need to speak privately. Immediately." But Victoria was already backing away, her camera clutched protectively against her chest. Stay away from me, she said firmly. Whatever game you are playing, I want no part of it. She turned and walked toward the exit with as much dignity as she could gather. Behind her, she heard the rising chaos, reporters shouting questions, guests speculating wildly about the identity of the mysterious woman who had captured Sebastian Cole's public affection. Victoria's phone buzzed incessantly in her clutch. Text messages, social media notifications, calls from unknown numbers. By the time she reached the lobby, her hands were trembling. She had come here to photograph the evening, to build her business through legitimate professional work. Instead, she had become the story. Outside, the cool night air offered no comfort. Victoria hailed a taxi, desperate to escape. As the car pulled away from the Grand Plaza, she saw news vans already arriving. This was not just gossip. This was a media event. In the back seat, Victoria finally checked her phone. Her social media accounts were exploding. Someone had identified her within minutes. Her professional website was crashing from traffic. Emails flooded her inbox, some from legitimate news outlets requesting interviews, others from strangers with opinions about her supposed relationship with Sebastian Cole. Viral sensation. This cannot be happening, Victoria whispered, scrolling through post after post featuring that kiss. The images were everywhere, captured from multiple angles, already memified and shared millions of times. Her best friend Jasmine called. Victoria answered, her voice hollow. Have you seen it? Girl, the entire internet has seen it. You are trending worldwide. Who is Sebastian Cole and why did he kiss you? Jasmine's excitement was palpable despite the chaos. I have no idea. I was working, photographing the event. Then he just appeared and kissed me. No warning, no explanation. Victoria felt tears of frustration burning behind her eyes. Jazz, my business. My reputation. Everything I have worked for. Or, Jasmine said carefully, this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. You are suddenly the most talked about woman in New York. People are going to want to know who Victoria Hayes is. They are going to think I am some social climber who staged this for attention. Then you control the narrative. Tell your story before someone else tells it for you. The taxi pulled up to Victoria's modest apartment in Brooklyn. As she paid the driver, she noticed a black sedan parked across the street, too expensive for this neighborhood. Her stomach tightened with apprehension. Victoria had no way of knowing that inside that sedan, Sebastian Cole sat with his head in his hands, his carefully ordered life completely unraveled by one impulsive kiss. She had no idea that by tomorrow morning, he would appear at her door with a proposition that would change both their lives forever. She only knew that tonight, everything had changed. The question was whether that change would destroy her or transform her in ways she could not yet imagine. Victoria barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw camera flashes and felt the unexpected warmth of Sebastian Cole's lips against hers. By dawn, she gave up trying to rest and made coffee, sitting at her small kitchen table with her laptop open to the chaos unfolding online. The headlines were relentless. Tech billionaire's mystery woman. Sebastian Cole's shocking public romance. Who is Victoria Hayes? Her name, her face, her entire online presence had been dissected by millions of strangers overnight. Some comments praised her natural beauty. Others criticized everything from her dress to her profession to her right to exist in Sebastian's world. Her business email contained 47 messages. Victoria's heart sank as she opened them one by one. 3 were from potential clients canceling upcoming bookings, citing concerns about media attention disrupting their events. 2 were from corporate contacts postponing meetings indefinitely. The others ranged from tabloid interview requests to marriage proposals from strangers. This is a nightmare, Victoria muttered, closing her laptop harder than necessary. Her phone rang. The screen displayed a number she did not recognize, but the area code was local. Against her better judgment, she answered. "Miss Hayes, my name is Thomas Chen. I represent Sebastian Cole." The voice was professional, calm, completely unfazed by the early hour. "Mr. Cole would like to meet with you this morning to discuss the situation and explore potential solutions." Solutions? Victoria's laugh was bitter. "The solution is for your boss to issue a public statement explaining that he lost his mind temporarily and that I was an innocent bystander in his personal crisis. Mr. Cole believes a face-to-face conversation would be more productive. He is prepared to come to you, or we can arrange a private meeting location of your choosing." Victoria stood and walked to her window, peeking through the blinds. The black sedan was still parked across the street. "Is he outside my apartment right now?" "Mr. Cole wanted to be available at your earliest convenience." The audacity was almost impressive. "Almost. Tell him he has 15 minutes. I will come down." The meeting. Victoria dressed quickly in jeans and a sweater, pulling her curls into a ponytail. If Sebastian Cole expected her to dress up for this meeting, he would be disappointed. She was not performing for him or anyone else. The morning air was crisp as she crossed the street. The sedan's rear door opened before she reached it, and she slid inside, maintaining as much distance as possible from Sebastian on the leather seat. He looked different in daylight, more human somehow. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, suggesting he had slept as poorly as she had. His usually perfect hair was slightly disheveled, and he wore jeans with a simple button-down shirt instead of his typical designer suit. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," he began. "I did not agree. I am here to tell you face-to-face that whatever you are planning, I want no part of it. Issue your statement, pay for my therapy bills, and stay away from me." Sebastian's lips curved slightly. "You are direct. I appreciate that. I am angry. Do not mistake it for anything else. You have every right to be." He reached for a tablet between them. "I spent the night having my team analyze the situation. The media narrative is already established. We can either fight it separately and watch our reputation suffer, or we can work together to transform this crisis into an opportunity." Victoria crossed her arms. "I am listening, but I am not agreeing to anything." "The offer." Sebastian handed her the tablet. "This is a comprehensive analysis of your business, your work, and your market position. Your photography is exceptional, Victoria. You have an eye for capturing genuine moments that most society photographers miss. What you lack is access to the clients who can afford your talent and the social credibility to compete with established names." Victoria scanned the document, her professional pride warring with her anger. The analysis was thorough and uncomfortably accurate. "You researched me. I needed to understand who I had inadvertently involved in my situation. What I found impressed me." Sebastian leaned forward slightly. "Here is what I am proposing. A partnership. We present ourselves as a couple who met last night and experienced an instant, genuine connection. We date publicly for 6 months, attending events together, being photographed together, building a narrative of a modern romance. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend?" Victoria's voice was flat. "I want us to present a united front while we each pursue our individual goals. You gain legitimate access to high-level clients and networking opportunities. Your work speaks for itself, but I can open doors that would otherwise remain closed. In return, you provide me with protection from my family's matchmaking schemes and a relationship that appears authentic enough to satisfy public curiosity." Victoria stared at him. "This is insane. People will see through it immediately. People see what they want to see. Right now, they want to believe in an unexpected romance between a billionaire and a talented photographer from Brooklyn. We simply give them what they are already imagining. Terms and conditions." Sebastian continued before Victoria could object. "Keep scrolling. You will find a detailed contract outlining every aspect of the arrangement. Financial compensation, business development support, timeline, expectations, and termination clauses. Everything is negotiable. Victoria's breath caught as she reached the financial section. The proposed amount was staggering, more than she would earn in 5 years of successful independent work. It included funding for studio space, equipment upgrades, and a marketing budget. "This is too much money," she said quietly. "It is fair compensation for 6 months of your time and the disruption to your life that my actions caused. Additionally, every client connection I facilitate must result in legitimate work. You will win projects based on your merit. My role is simply to ensure you get the meetings. What happens after that is entirely up to your talent." Victoria looked up from the tablet, searching his face for signs of manipulation or deceit. Instead, she found exhaustion and something that looked almost like hope. "Why me?" she asked. "Out of hundreds of people at that event, why did you choose to kiss me?" Sebastian was quiet for a moment. "Honestly? Because you were the only person in that room who seemed real. Everyone else was performing, playing their assigned roles in a social theater. You were simply doing your job, focused and authentic. In that moment, you represented everything I felt I was losing. Freedom, purpose, authenticity. The friend's perspective." "I need to think about this," Victoria said finally. "And I need to consult with people I trust." "Of course. Take 24 hours. Review the contract with an attorney if you wish. I will cover any legal fees." Sebastian produced a business card. "My private number is on there. Call anytime." Victoria took the card, her fingers brushing his briefly. That small contact should not have affected her, but it did, sending an unwelcome flutter through her chest. She pushed the feeling aside. "If I agree to this, and that is a massive if, there will be additional conditions. My integrity is not for sale. I will not lie to my friends and family about the nature of our arrangement. I will not pretend to feel things I do not feel when we are alone. And I will walk away the moment this stops being a professional agreement and starts being something manipulative." Agreed on all counts. Sebastian's respect was evident in his expression. "I want a partner, Victoria, not an employee. Someone strong enough to challenge me and independent enough to walk away if I cross a line." Victoria gathered her things and reached for the door handle. "I will call you tomorrow with my decision. Until then, do not contact me, do not send your people to watch my apartment, and do not speak to the media about me in any capacity." "Understood." As Victoria walked back to her apartment, her mind raced with possibilities and dangers. Inside, Jasmine was waiting, having let herself in with the spare key Victoria had given her. "Well?" Jasmine demanded the moment Victoria entered. What did the billionaire want? Victoria sank onto her couch and told her everything. Jasmine listened without interruption, her expression cycling through shock, excitement, and concern. "This is like something from a movie," Jasmine said when Victoria finished. "A fake relationship that could become real. It will not become real. This is a business arrangement, nothing more. You kissed him back, Vic. I saw the footage. That was not acting." Victoria felt heat rise in her cheeks. That was shock and confusion. It meant nothing. "Sure. Keep telling yourself that." Jasmine picked up the tablet Victoria had brought upstairs. "But regardless of potential feelings, this is a legitimate opportunity. This money could transform your business. These connections could establish you as a serious player in your field. The question is, are you brave enough to take the risk?" The decision. Victoria spent the day reviewing the contract, researching Sebastian's business practices, and making lists of pros and cons. Every logical analysis pointed to one conclusion: this was a golden opportunity wrapped in an unconventional package. Her pride wanted to refuse, to prove she could succeed without help from a billionaire's world. But her practical side recognized that pride was a luxury she could not afford. By evening, she had made her decision. She picked up her phone and dialed the number on Sebastian's card. He answered on the first ring. "Victoria. I have conditions beyond what we discussed this morning," she said without preamble. "I want creative control over how we present our relationship publicly. No scripted moments, no staged photographs beyond normal couple behavior. I want my own legal representation to review the contract, which you will pay for as stated. And I want monthly check-ins where we assess whether this arrangement is working for both of us, with either party able to terminate with 2 weeks' notice. All acceptable. Does this mean you are agreeing?" Victoria took a deep breath. "Yes. I am agreeing to your proposition. But Sebastian, if you make me regret this, if you treat me as anything less than an equal partner in this arrangement, I will expose everything publicly. I may not have your resources, but I have integrity and documentation. Do you understand?" "Perfectly. And Victoria? Thank you for taking this chance. I promise I will not make you regret it." As they ended the call and began discussing logistics for their first official public appearance, Victoria felt the ground shift beneath her feet. She was stepping into a world she had only observed from behind a camera lens, trading her role as invisible witness for active participant in a high-stakes performance. What she did not know, what neither of them knew, was that some performances become indistinguishable from reality. Some fake relationships develop real feelings. And sometimes, a kiss meant to solve one problem creates an entirely different, far more complicated situation. Their 6-month arrangement was about to begin, and nothing would unfold according to plan. Victoria stood in front of her mirror, adjusting the emerald green dress that had been delivered to her apartment that morning. The garment was stunning, designer quality with a price tag she had glimpsed before quickly looking away. A note had accompanied it, "For tonight. But only if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, wear whatever makes you feel like yourself. Sebastian." She appreciated the gesture, the acknowledgement that she had autonomy even in this arrangement. Still, she kept the dress. It fit perfectly, hugging her curves in ways that made her feel powerful rather than exposed. Jasmine whistled from the doorway. "Girl, you look incredible. Are you nervous?" Terrified, Victoria admitted, fastening simple gold earrings. "We are about to walk into the Bennett Foundation gala together. Every society reporter in New York will be there. One wrong move, one awkward moment, and people will know this is fake. So do not make it fake. You two have actual chemistry, whether you want to admit it or not. Just be yourself and let him be himself. The rest will follow." A knock at the door announced Sebastian's arrival. Victoria opened it to find him in a tailored black suit, his expression shifting from professional courtesy to genuine appreciation when he saw her. "You look beautiful," he said simply. "You clean up well yourself." Victoria grabbed her clutch, trying to ignore the flutter in her stomach. This was business, she reminded herself. Just business. The car ride to the gala was quiet, both of them lost in thought. Finally, Sebastian broke the silence. "Are you ready for this? Once we walk in together, there is no taking it back. The narrative begins tonight." "I am ready. Are you? Your family will be there, correct? My mother, my younger sister Caroline, and probably half a dozen relatives eager to witness my supposed rebellion." Sebastian's jaw tightened. "They will not make this easy." "Good," Victoria said firmly. "I did not agree to easy. I agreed to real, even if the relationship itself is not." Entering the Lion's Den. The Bennett Foundation Gala was held at the Metropolitan Museum, its grand entrance illuminated by carefully positioned lights. As their car pulled up, Victoria could see the assembled photographers and reporters lining the red carpet. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Sebastian squeezed her hand gently. "We walk in together. I introduce you as my girlfriend. We stay close but not clingy. You are confident, accomplished, and completely comfortable in this environment. Can you do that? Watch me. They stepped out of the car, and immediately the cameras erupted. Flashes burst like lightning, voices shouted questions, and the energy of the crowd pressed against them. Sebastian placed his hand on the small of her back, a gesture that appeared protective but gave Victoria the freedom to move independently. Sebastian, is this the woman from the Grand Plaza? How long have you been dating? Miss, what is your name? What do you do? Victoria smiled, channeling every ounce of confidence she possessed. Sebastian leaned close, his breath warm against her ear. You are doing perfectly. They paused for photographs, and Victoria was surprised by how natural it felt to stand beside him. His presence was steady, grounding rather than overwhelming. When he looked at her for the cameras, something in his expression made her forget momentarily that this was performance. Inside the museum, the atmosphere shifted from chaos to refined scrutiny. Guests in designer gowns and tuxedos watched their entrance with barely concealed curiosity. Victoria felt the weight of their judgment, the assessment happening behind polite smiles. Sebastian, darling. A woman in her late 50s approached, her designer dress elegant but her expression cold. I see you brought a guest. Mother, this is Victoria Hayes. Victoria, my mother, Catherine Cole. Victoria extended her hand with a warm smile. It is lovely to meet you, Mrs. Cole. Sebastian has told me so much about you. Catherine's handshake was brief, her eyes cataloging every detail of Victoria's appearance. How fascinating. He has told me nothing about you. Perhaps we should remedy that. Tell me, Miss Hayes, what is it you do? Meeting the family. I am a photographer, Victoria said confidently. I specialize in event photography and portraiture, though I am expanding into commercial work. A photographer. Catherine's tone suggested she had said garbage collector. How quaint. And how did you and Sebastian meet? At the Grand Plaza charity auction, Sebastian interjected smoothly. Victoria was working the event. I saw her across the room and could not resist introducing myself. How impulsive of you. Catherine's smile did not reach her eyes. Sebastian is rarely impulsive. It is one of his more reliable qualities. A younger woman joined them, her friendly demeanor a stark contrast to Catherine's ice. You must be Victoria. I am Caroline, Sebastian's sister. Ignore our mother. She is protective of her baby boy, even though he is 34 and runs a multi-billion-dollar company. Victoria laughed, genuinely liking Caroline immediately. I understand completely. Family wants the best for those they love. Exactly. Caroline linked her arm through Victoria's. Come, let me introduce you to people who will not interrogate you like a suspect. Sebastian, you can have her back later. As Caroline led her away, Victoria glanced back at Sebastian. He gave her an encouraging nod, though she could see tension in his shoulders as he faced his mother alone. Building connections. Caroline proved to be an excellent guide, introducing Victoria to various guests with genuine enthusiasm. This is Victoria Hayes, an incredibly talented photographer. You should see her portfolio. She has an eye for capturing moments that others miss. Throughout the evening, Victoria found herself actually enjoying the conversations. She discussed composition with an art collector, debated the future of digital photography with a tech investor, and laughed over shared stories of difficult clients with a wedding planner. These were not the shallow interactions she had expected. These were real connections with interesting people. Sebastian appeared periodically, his hand finding hers naturally as they moved through the crowd. Each touch felt less awkward, more instinctive. When they stood together listening to the foundation's presentation, his thumb traced absent circles on her palm, a gesture so intimate and unconscious that Victoria wondered if he even realized he was doing it. During dinner, they were seated with several other couples. The conversation flowed easily, and Victoria noticed something surprising. Sebastian was different here than in their private meetings. He was relaxed, his laugh genuine, his attention focused completely on whoever was speaking. When he looked at her across the table, his eyes held warmth that seemed too real to be performance. "You two seem very comfortable together," observed the woman beside Victoria, a prominent philanthropist named Margaret Chen. "It is refreshing to see genuine affection in this environment. So many relationships here are transactions." Victoria felt a pang of guilt at the irony but maintained her smile. "Sebastian makes it easy to be comfortable. He seems quite taken with you. I have known the Cole family for years, and I have never seen him look at anyone the way he looks at you." Cracks in the facade. Later, as they danced, Sebastian pulled her close. The music was slow, romantic, perfect for the image they were projecting. But something had shifted. Victoria was acutely aware of every point of contact between them, his hand on her waist, her palm against his shoulder, the minimal distance separating their bodies. "You are a natural at this," Sebastian murmured. "Everyone believes we are genuine." "Maybe we are selling it too well," Victoria whispered back. "Your mother certainly is not convinced, but everyone else seems completely taken in. Is that a problem?" Victoria looked up at him, finding his face closer than she expected. "I do not know. This was supposed to be simple. Business. But nothing about tonight has felt like business." Sebastian's expression grew serious. "I know. I have been thinking the same thing." The song ended, but neither of them moved apart immediately. The moment stretched, charged with something neither wanted to name. Finally, Sebastian stepped back, his professional mask sliding into place. "We should make our rounds. There are more people you should meet." The rest of the evening passed in a blur of introductions and conversations. Victoria collected business cards from potential clients, each interaction a reminder of why she had agreed to this arrangement. This was opportunity. This was her future. She could not let confused feelings about Sebastian derail her goals. As the night wound down, they prepared to leave. Catherine intercepted them at the exit, her expression calculating. "Sebastian, a word please. In private." "Anything you need to say to me can be said in front of Victoria," he replied firmly. Catherine's lips thinned. "Very well. I want to know your intentions. This relationship, if we can call it that, is highly unconventional. The board has concerns about your judgment. The board has concerns about quarterly profits and market position, which remain excellent. My personal life is not subject to board approval. Your personal life affects company image, which affects stock prices. You cannot simply act without considering consequences." Victoria placed a gentle hand on Sebastian's arm. "Mrs. Cole, I understand your concerns. You do not know me, and your son has chosen someone outside your expected circle. But I respect Sebastian, and I have no intention of causing problems for him or his family." Catherine studied her for a long moment. "We shall see, Miss Hayes. Time reveals all truths." The revelation. In the car heading home, Victoria felt the evening's tension finally releasing. "Your mother really does not like me. My mother does not like anyone who threatens her control. You represent independence, which terrifies her." Sebastian loosened his tie, looking exhausted. "I am sorry she was so cold. I expected worse, honestly. Your sister is wonderful, though. Caroline has always been the reasonable one in the family. She actually chooses her own life rather than having it dictated by family expectations." They fell into comfortable silence. When the car stopped outside Victoria's apartment, Sebastian walked her to her door, a gesture that felt natural despite their arrangement. "Thank you for tonight," he said. "You were incredible. Confident, charming, genuine. Everything I hoped for and more." "It was not as terrible as I feared," Victoria admitted with a smile. Some of it was actually enjoyable. They stood in her doorway, the space between them charged with unspoken thoughts. Sebastian reached up, tucking a stray curl behind her ear. The gesture was tender, intimate, completely unnecessary since no cameras were watching. "Sebastian," Victoria said softly. "What are we doing?" "I am not sure anymore," he admitted. This was supposed to be simple. A business arrangement with clear boundaries. "But Victoria, tonight when we were dancing, when you were laughing with Caroline, when you stood up to my mother, I forgot we were pretending." Victoria's heart raced. "We cannot do this. We have a contract, an agreement. If we complicate this with actual feelings." "I know. You are right." Sebastian stepped back, creating necessary distance. "I apologize. That was inappropriate." "It was honest," Victoria corrected. "Which might be more dangerous." She went inside, closing the door between them. Leaning against it, Victoria tried to calm her racing thoughts. This arrangement was supposed to protect both of them, to provide benefits without complications. Instead, after just one evening, she was feeling things she had no business feeling. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jasmine. "Just saw photos online. You two look like the real deal. How was it?" Victoria typed and deleted several responses before settling on, "Complicated." The morning after. Morning brought harsh reality. Victoria woke to find herself trending on social media again, but this time the narrative was different. Photos from the gala showed her and Sebastian looking genuinely connected, their body language screaming attraction and affection. Headlines proclaimed, "Sebastian Cole's mystery woman identified," and, "A modern fairy tale, billionaire falls for Brooklyn photographer." Her business email contained 23 new inquiries from potential clients. Real opportunities from companies and individuals who wanted to work with the photographer dating Sebastian Cole. Victoria felt sick. Were they interested in her talent or her association with him? Her phone rang. Sebastian's name appeared on the screen. "Have you seen the coverage?" he asked without preamble. "Yes. It is overwhelming. We need to discuss how to handle client inquiries. I want to make sure you feel comfortable with how we proceed. Can we meet?" An hour later, Victoria sat across from Sebastian in a quiet cafe, both of them wearing sunglasses despite the cloudy weather. Recognition was now a constant threat. "I have been thinking about last night," Sebastian began. "About what I said at your door." "Sebastian. Let me finish. This arrangement was supposed to be purely business. But I need to be honest with you. I find myself genuinely caring about your success, your happiness, your thoughts. That kiss at the Grand Plaza, it was impulsive and thoughtless. But getting to know you these past few days, that has been intentional and meaningful." Victoria's hands trembled around her coffee cup. "What are you saying?" "I am saying that I want to renegotiate our arrangement. Not the business aspects, those remain exactly as agreed. But the personal boundaries. I want permission to explore whatever this connection is between us, honestly and without pretense. No performance, no audience. Just two people seeing where genuine attraction might lead." "That is a terrible idea," Victoria said, though her heart betrayed her with its accelerated rhythm. "Mixing business with personal feelings is a disaster waiting to happen." "Perhaps. Or perhaps we are already past the point of keeping them separate." Sebastian removed his sunglasses, his green eyes intense. "I am not asking you to make a decision right now. I am simply asking you to consider the possibility that this arrangement has become something neither of us anticipated. Something real." Victoria looked at him, at this man who had disrupted her life completely, and felt something shift inside her. Fear, excitement, possibility, all tangled together. "I need time," she said finally. "Take all the time you need. The business arrangement continues regardless." "But Victoria, I will not apologize for developing real feelings. You are extraordinary, and any man who failed to see that would be a fool." As they left the cafe, photographers caught them in another moment that would fuel speculation and gossip. But this time, Victoria barely noticed the cameras. She was too busy trying to understand how a fake relationship had started feeling more real than anything she had experienced before. 6 months suddenly seemed both far too long and nowhere near enough time to figure out what was happening between them. The line between performance and reality had blurred beyond recognition, and Victoria was no longer sure she wanted to find it again. Their arrangement had been meant to solve problems. Instead, it was creating the most complicated, terrifying, exhilarating problem of her life: genuine, unexpected, completely inconvenient love. And there were still 5.5 months remaining in their contract. The end.